So today I'm so excited because we're talking about the top secrets updated for 2025 to scoring the very best deals in any Nordstrom Rack store. You can use some of these tips online as well, so have no fear, there's lots of tips here. Oh, that rhymes. Let's dive in. Let's talk about the stroll. So I want you, if possible, to make it available to yourself to stroll through Nordstrom so you can pick up on new pieces, new brands, you can touch and feel for quality, you can discover and get enamored with new trends, and most especially, you can look for prices. This is one of my most favorite things to do. Brian and I just did a whole stroll through, I think, one of the most gorgeous Nordstroms in our area, which is Fashion Valley down in San Diego. I just wanted to touch and feel and observe and look. And I want you to give yourself permission to not do that intimidated. Sometimes the designer sections can get very intimidating, but forget that, okay? Go try on a $2,000 blazer. Go do it. That is why it's there. I want you to touch and feel these pieces and then source very similar things at reasonable and more affordable prices, because no one needs to be buying a $2,000 blazer, right? So that is why I think strolling through Nordstrom enables you to be that much of a better deal hunter at Nordstrom Rack. So there was a manager who commented on one of my prior videos. By the way, thank you for the comment. I loved this. And she said 75% of Nordstrom Rack is sourcing manufactured for Nordstrom Rack pieces, which makes plenty of sense. This is the lesser brand, the lesser quality things, which is why they're coming in at a lower price. So it's basically brands that dupe themselves, or it's sort of like shopping at an outlet mall where you can walk into some of these stores and even though it says Michael Kors, it's sort of the lesser version brand. Every one of our off-price stores does this, by the way, but we're not normally shopping those stores for those pieces. We're shopping them for the Nordstrom pieces. So when you know it's at Nordstrom, you know what the brands look like, then you can see and sort of focus in on those pieces faster when you get into Nordstrom Rack. And I'm going to talk about how to find those pieces faster in these upcoming secrets. Okay, so secret number 2 is the second part of that comment that the store manager has made. And she said, most of the Nordstrom pieces at Nordstrom Rack will be found in clearance. She made a general statement, which I think is fairly true, but a lot of the pieces that are coming from Nordstrom will go down to clearance. Now, the thing to notice is they might not always be on that red tag clearance rack. That is the thing that I think is really important to note. Sometimes they will be in different racks or in different places. And here's how you can identify them. This is secret number 3. You can identify the Nordstrom pieces by the labels. Okay, so let's break this down. There are a few different types of labels. Number 1, you have the Nordstrom Rack tag. It just simply says Nordstrom Rack. That tag means the brand is either made for, by, or with Nordstrom Rack. So it's probably manufactured. It doesn't mean it's a bad piece. It just means that it's maybe not a real deal. I mean, you're getting a piece for a lower price because you're at Nordstrom Rack, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're getting your most high-end, best priced things at Nordstrom Rack, okay? This is a made for Nordstrom Rack piece. Great example of this we've talked about before is Z by Zella. That's made for the rack. And there's lots of other brands that are similar to that. Okay, this is editing me. I have to interrupt real quick. This Varley collection here in store is definitely from Nordstrom stores, but it does have a Nordstrom Rack sticker on the tag. So this makes tip number 1 the most important, and that is to know your brands. But when it comes to tags, just be aware that some things with Nordstrom Rack stickers might still be from Nordstrom stores. Tag number 2 you want to be aware of is the handwritten markdown tag. So if you see anything handwritten on the tag, I guarantee you the Nordstrom Rack team is not handwriting on tags, okay? The Nordstrom is though. And you know this if you're a Nordstrom shopper. This goes back to tip number 1, why it's good to be at Nordstrom and be looking at the tags. Because when they do discounts, they're always marking things off handwritten, right? And you've seen this before. So if you're looking at a tag at Nordstrom Rack and it's handwritten discounted, 9 times out of 10, that piece has come from Nordstrom. Pause, look at the brand, look at the piece, see if it's worth you taking home. Number 3, is the easiest tag, in my opinion, the one I'm looking for the most, and that just has a sticker on it that says Nordstrom with a barcode. That will tell you that it comes from Nordstrom. It's a Nordstrom piece, and you can see it right here. It has that simple tag and the simple sticker, and normally it's discounted, and it's just a beautiful day when you see these tags. Okay, so the next tip is the rack that I go right to. This rack has been renamed over the years. In 2025, at least in January, for now when this video is being made, the rack is called Final Few. Okay, this is an important rack. This is the rack that I want you to look at every single time you go on Nordstrom Rack. Normally there's one of these racks in every single section of Nordstrom Rack. Sometimes there's only one rack in any store. Okay, it just depends on the season. It depends how much they're putting on sale. But the Final Few rack is where I think you have your best chance of finding all of those Nordstrom store deals that have been marked down. So in my store today, I have found so many things from the Nordstrom stores. Varley is a great example. I know Varley is coming right from the Nordstrom store because number one, it's my favorite brand, and I know these pieces are legit. And number two, because it's not available on Nordstrom Rack's online site either. So these pieces, you can find them on the Nordstrom site, which is how I know. But this rack, it can also be named from our Nordstrom stores. So in prior years, it's been Final Few. In other years, it's been from our Nordstrom stores. You just have to keep your eye on that sort of one-of-a-kind labeling on this rack, okay? And this is gonna be your best place to find those best deals. Next tip, search the app, the Nordstrom and the Nordstrom Rack app while you're shopping. I do this all the time. This is a big one for me because this is where you will find additional sizes. Like there's nothing worse, right, than finding a beautiful piece and not being able to find your size, especially when it's on sale or it's even dropped to clearance at Nordstrom Rack. So I always have my app open. By the way, Nordstrom has free Wi-Fi. There is terrible service in my store, so I always connect in with the Wi-Fi, and I will use that search scan tool in the app. And if I do not find it at Nordstrom Rack, I will open up my Nordstrom app. Now, quick caveat, there are a few times that I've searched and scanned the tag in store and it said, oh, sorry, that item is not available, which is baloney. Sometimes I get this inner nudge where I'm like, I know this piece is online, I'm gonna find it. I will actually forget the scan tool and I'll just put the brand and the piece in and search. A great example is this leopard top right here. This is such a beautiful top, and I scanned it and it did not come up. But then when I searched it by hand, all the sizes popped up. Also, if you do not find the piece you're looking for on Nordstrom Rack, go to Nordstrom and follow that same thing and see what pops up. This is just something I'm doing all the time. If you ever see me in store, my phone is always with me. Not only am I filming, most likely, but I'm probably searching for the piece online for a different size, a different color, etc., etc. I want to take you into a quick tip here on how to search for some of the best new arrivals. This site, I think, is very overwhelming. There's lots of places to go. Sometimes it's hard to navigate, and a lot of times they're popping up the same brands when you just do like basic searches, because those brands are probably paying to be first in line when you search for things. So instead of clicking into new arrivals and seeing what's new, I want you to click on, follow me here, new arrivals, and then go to featured, and then click New from Nordstrom. This is the online version of what we talked about earlier, and this is the best way to see what's coming from those Nordstrom stores. Before you buy anything on Nordstrom Rack though, I don't want to discount the fact that they're not paying attention, but I do want you to check Nordstrom's site to just make sure you're getting the best price. Because sometimes if Nordstrom's doing a big sale, like the half annual sale or the anniversary sale, sometimes you could get a better deal on the Nordstrom site. You could get a different color in a better deal. There might be a better range of sizes. So like I mentioned in the last tip, just like here, make sure you're checking both places. But this is a really fun place to go to see what's new and exciting. This is also where I sometimes pull a lot of new arrivals for my monthly new arrival Nordstrom Rack videos. Also, you can always put these in your wish list and keep an eye on them because 4, 6, 8 weeks, they'll start dropping in price. They do sell out fast though, so you're taking your chance if you're not purchasing right away. Another new feature I love on the Nordstrom Rack site is the top 100 deals. I think this is actually a fun little scroll. It's only 100 things. I love in these times to use the sort feature as well. So scroll from A to Z. You can scroll from most expensive to least. You can scroll from least expensive to most. That's sometimes a fun little sort feature, so you're just not in that monotonous scroll. You want to have a little fun and see things you like. So you can also search by brand very easily, which I love. So I've talked a lot over the last several years as Nordstrom and Nordstrom Rack have sort of changed the way that they do their store returns. I really appreciate the fact that now at Nordstrom Rack stores, you can return almost anything, right? You can return your Nordstrom Rack items within 30 days. You can return your Nordstrom store items and your Nordstrom online items. Now, there are caveats to that. I know some of the more high-end designer things, they don't accept those returns. So you can read the fine print on that. I'm generalizing. But the Nordstrom Rack return policy makes finding really good Nordstrom store items in Rack stores that much more readily available. And this is what I really, really love. Now, there are things I know that they ship back to Nordstrom stores. That's a given. But I think end of season is your time to score. When you're at the end of the season, they're gonna be putting a lot more of their things in their Nordstrom Rack stores because it's just how they're able to capture the biggest amount of audiences. One of the pro tips to get the best things with this secret is to notice what's on the racks at the front of the store. I'll sometimes just take a moment and I'll notice what's been returned because it's there you could find the shoes, the brands, the sizes, the pieces that have been returned that you potentially could ask a manager to see, try on, or purchase yourself. In my opinion, the more returns they get, the better, because that's potentially better deals and better shopping for us as Rack deal hunters. Okay, that does it. I hope you enjoyed. If you're new here, feel free to subscribe, like this video, say hi below in the comments. Don't forget to join my weekly email list where I send out my favorite dupes, deals, and finds, and have another way to connect with you. So with that being said, I will see you next time. Mwah.